Good morning, students. This is the second video of genetic disorders. We have discussed the types and the mechanisms of genetic disorders, translocation, inversion, deletion. We have discussed Down syndrome. We have also discussed the symptoms and diagnosis of Klinefelter syndrome, clinical symptoms, diagnosis of Turner syndromes, and we have discussed the famous peoples of these syndromes. Then monogenic disorders, which are having sickle cell anemia. We have discussed sickle cell anemia, cystic fibrosis, and hemophilia, color blindness, and AD are left. So we will be starting with the hemophilia and color blindness, X-linked recessive disorders. So today our topic will be X-linked recessive disorders. In X-linked recessive inheritance in mother XX, the affected gene remains on one X chromosome. As a result, she becomes the carrier, and usually only males XY are affected by disorders. So, if only one X chromosome is having the defect and the males are normal, then the X-linked recessive disorder it is, because the female becomes a carrier of this disease. In the progeny, men pass the X chromosomes. In the progeny, men pass the Y chromosome to their son. This defect is only present on the X chromosome. It's not present on Y chromosome. And to the son, man only pass Y chromosome. And X chromosome is passed to the daughters. So a man who is affected will not pass to the character to the son. Affected male cannot pass the character to the son, but can pass to the daughters. Daughter become carriers in this case. Some example of X-linked recessive disorders are hemophilia, Duchenne muscular dystrophy. Hemophilia is a bleeding disorder associated with the clotting defect of the clotting factors. The female usual gene is shown in the white color, and the defective gene is altered gene shown in the red color. And you see that the male and the male is normal, unaffected father, and the female is XX. That means one defect is there, defective gene is there. So female is a carrier here. So the child, uh, out of four child, the two son are normal because they have got the Y chromosome. From the one son has got X chromosome, the one has got Y. The X chromosome from the mother, normal X chromosome from the mother, one son has got, and other son has got the defect affected chromosome from the mother. So that son become unaffected, affected son. That son become affected because the X chromosome is having the defective gene, and the female is a carrier, and one is unaffected daughter. So one female daughter is carrier and the other female daughter is unaffected. So this is the case of inheritance of the offsprings, and you can see the pattern is the pattern is showing the inheritance in the recessive manner, that it is sex-linked because it is present on the X chromosome, and it is uh, also it is recessive nature because it needs two chromosomes to be affected, to the disease to occur. Two chromosomes are needed for the disease to occur. That is showing the recessive nature of the chromosome and the gene. Mutation in coagulation factor 8 gene type A or factor 9 gene type B. So the hemophilia of type A is having mutation in the factor 8, and the hemophilia of type B is having mutation in the factor 9. So this is written here, and mutation in coagulation factors. So coagulation factors may mutation gene results in the production of abnormal version of coagulation factors 8 and 9, or reduced amount of one of these proteins. So either the defective proteins are produced or their amount is reduced. The altered or missing coagulation factor cannot effectively complete the blood clotting process, leading to the spontaneous bleeding or increased bleeding tendencies. So, altered and missing coagulation factors effectively cannot complete the coagulation. Blood clotting is disturbed here. So, clot increasing, bleeding tendency increases in the hemophilia disease. Duchenne's muscular dystrophy (DMD) is caused by the mutation in the dystrophin gene, resulting in the reduction in the absence of dystrophin or presence of abnormal protein. Dystrophin abnormality or deficiency leads to dystrophy or degeneration of muscles, making them more fragile and weak. So, dystrophin gene is altered, so it leads to the formation of abnormal dystrophin protein, and muscles thereby degenerate and become more fragile and weak. So this is a muscular dystrophy, DMD, Duchenne's muscular dystrophy disorder. And say X-linked dominant disorders now. So X-linked dominant disorder, in this type of inheritance, the affected male pass on the mutation. In the affected male have passed on the mutation to their daughters, but none of their sons. In case of affected male, female married, their son and daughters. Example of such disorder are hypophosphatemia, a type of vitamin D resistant rickets, and Alport syndrome, which is associated with. So these are the disorders in affected female married to unaffected male, and they have passed the condition to half of their son and the daughters. Examples are disorders are hypophosphatemia and the type of vitamin D resistant rickets, and with a progressive hearing loss and kidney disease. So the diagram is shown here with an Alport syndrome, which is associated programming progressive X-linked dominant affected father, unaffected mother. If affected father is there and it is an X-linked disease, and unaffected marries a mother, which is unaffected mother. So the generation, the offsprings will have such tendencies of getting affected. Unaffected son, one son will be unaffected, one daughter will be affected, other unaffected son and affected daughter. And the second case is here, in which we can see that if this is the condition of the second case, then what will be the result? If the father is normal and the mother is affected, then what happens? Because it is X-linked dominant affected mother, unaffected father. If the mother is affected and dominant disorder this is, so only one gene is only responsible for the affecting of the progeny. So unaffected son, first son is unaffected, then affected daughter, and then affected son, and then unaffected daughter. So one son and one daughter will be unaffected, and one son and one daughter will be affected. 50% chance of the affected passing on the character defect is there. Now polygenic disorders is like hypertensions, coronary heart diseases, and diabetes. So these are caused by various genes. These are caused by the defect or combined action of more than one gene. A classical example is hypertension and the diabetes. So in both the diseases, there are chances of various genes involved in it. When many genes are affected, pathogenesis proceeds. Such diseases depend on the simultaneously association of several genes, and therefore they cannot be explained as monogenic disease because many genes are involved. interacting. Diabetes mellitus is an important example of polygenic disease. It is a heterogeneous group of disorders. So diabetes mellitus sugar problem, that means in the urine, if the person is high, releasing high is sugar, that means high blood sugar is present in that person. So persistent high blood sugar रहेगा उस person को जिसको diabetes mellitus होगा, and वो यूरिन में भी उसे excrete करेगा. And so this is the problem. And ये बहुत सारी 3-4 जीन के कॉम्प्लेक्स इंटरेक्शन की वजह से होता है. इसीलिए से पॉलीजेनिक बोलते हैं. एंड यहाँ पर आगे एक्सप्लेनेशन देखेंगे हम क्या दिया है. और हाइपरटेंशन भी इसी तरह का एक एग्जाम्पल है. इसे हाइपरग्लाइसीमिया भी कहते हैं. देयर आर 2 मोस्ट कॉमन फॉर्म ऑफ डायबिटीज. 1 डायबिटीज 2, type 1 diabetes T1D, previously known as insulin dependent diabetes or IDDM, and type 2 diabetes TD2, type 2 diabetes T2D, previously known as non-insulin dependent diabetes NIDDM. Diabetes is one of the most common non-communicable disease in India, with more than 62 million individuals currently suffering with the disease. In 2000, India, with 31.17 million cases, become the countries with the highest number of diabetes mellitus, followed by China, 20.8 million. सो इंडिया चाइना को भी क्रॉस कर चुकी है डायबिटीज के पेशेंट में, और नंबर 1 है पूरे वर्ल्ड में ऐसी कंट्रीज में जो कि हाईएस्ट डायबिटीज के पेशेंट जहां हैं. यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स में 17.7 मिलियन है. प्रेवलेंस ऑफ डायबिटीज इज प्रेडिक्टेड टू बिकम डबल इन द वर्ल्ड फ्रॉम 171 मिलियन इन 2000 टू 366 मिलियन इन 2030, विद द मैक्सिमम इंक्रीज इन इंडिया. इंडिया में सबसे ज्यादा इंक्रीज हुए हैं prevalence diabetes की. Cause of diabetes in India is multifactorial, which includes genetic style and lifestyle. Genetic तो factor है ही, environmental influence और lifestyle भी है इंडिया का जो कि डायबिटीज को prevalent कर रहा है. Rising standard of living, change in the food habits and increasing intake of fast food as well as decrease in regular exercise may be responsible for high incidence of disease in our country. Type 1 diabetes is caused by the टाइप 1 डायबिटीज में डिस्ट्रक्शन हो जाते हैं बीटा सेल्स के पैंक्रियास से ड्यू टू इम्यूनोलॉजिकल एबनॉर्मलिटी वहां हो जाती हैं. दिस टाइप कंस्टिट्यूट अप्रोक्सीमेटली 10% ऑफ ऑल केसेस ऑफ डायबिटीज. लाइफ लॉन्ग ट्रीटमेंट विद इंसुलिन इंजेक्शन इज नीडेड फॉर दीज केसेस. सो लाइफ लॉन्ग इसकी ट्रीटमेंट चलती है, इंसुलिन के इंजेक्शन लगते हैं इस केस में. एंड टाइप 2 डायबिटीज कॉमनेस्ट फॉर्म है डिजीज का जो रिप्रेजेंट करता है अबाउट 90% ऑफ द केसेस. It is caused by impaired insulin secretion from beta cells. Beta cells तो सही है बट कम इंसुलिन बना रहे हैं पेनक्रियास के. And also peripheral insulin resistance. इंसुलिन की रेजिस्टेंस भी है बॉडी में. Insulin is needed for transporting glucose from blood to inside the cells, like muscle cells, for producing energy and maintaining the cell function. In case of insulin resistance, presence of insulin fails to initiate the cellular replicate. So insulin resistance होने से फेल हो जाता है सेलुलर अपटेक इंसुलिन का, यूटिलाइजेशन भी नहीं हो पाती ग्लूकोज की बाय मसल्स और अदर पेरिफेरल टिश्यू, लीडिंग टू मोर अक्यूमुलेशन ऑफ ग्लूकोज. जब मसल्स में नहीं जाएगा ग्लूकोज तो फिर ब्लड में ही रहेगा. यूजुअली टाइप 2 डायबिटीज मैनेज हो जाएगी कंट्रोलिंग द डाइट, एक्सरसाइज, ओरल ड्रग और अदर प्रिपरेशन विच कैन रिड्यूस द ब्लड शुगर. ऐसे एजेंट्स जो रिड्यूस करते हैं ब्लड शुगर लेवल को, इनको हाइपोग्लाइसेमिक एजेंट और ड्रग्स कहते हैं. एंड हाइपरटेंशन और परसिस्टेंट इंक्रीज ब्लड प्रेशर में ये सेकंड डिसऑर्डर है जो कि पॉलीजेनिक टाइप का है. मेजर रिस्क है ये रीनल और हार्ट और स्ट्रोक का ब्रेन में. दिस इज लीडिंग कॉज ऑफ ग्लोबल मोर्टेलिटी, और सबसे ज्यादा इसी की वजह से अब लोग आजकल मर रहे हैं. ओवर द इयर्स आवर अंडरस्टैंडिंग अबाउट द डिजीजेस हैज इम्प्रूव्ड. और हमने अब डिजीज को ज्यादा अच्छे से समझने लगे हैं. द करंट गाइडलाइन 2017 फॉर एडल्ट्स ऑफ अमेरिकन कॉलेज ऑफ कार्डियोलॉजी मेंशंस दैट normal pressure BP is less than 120 systolic, less 80 the diastolic. This is the range. This should be the range. And millimeter of the Hg. Elevated BP is 120 to 129 and less than 80 millimeter of Hg. Hypertension stage 1 is 130 to 139 and 80 to 89 millimeter of Hg, and hypertension stage 2 is greater than 140, and this is stage 2 hypertension, and greater than 90 millimeter of Hg. Doctor now advise strict control of blood pressure with reduction of the obesity, regular exercise, improving lifestyle. The causes of hypertension can divide into two main types. In about 95% suffering from hypertension, the cause of unknown, they are called essential or primary hypertension. When a cause can be found, it is called secondary hypertension. And these are the two types of hypertension. When cause cannot be formed is the primary and cause is found secondary. Normal heart and artery look like this. An artery with plaque buildup is looking like this. So more yellow or fatty substance is present in their arteries, and the reduced blood flow is there. So increased pressure is there on the heart. The coronary heart diseases, ch-8, is also important cause of morbidity and mortality over the world. वर्ल्ड में भी सब जगह इसके ऐसे लोग मर रहे हैं. हाइपरटेंशन और डायबिटीज इंपॉर्टेंट रिस्क फैक्टर हैं किसी भी डिजीज के. The CHD develops due to narrowing of the coronary artery which supply blood to the heart muscles by gradual buildup of fatty material on its own wall. This accumulation of fat material on the wall of artery is called atherosclerosis, and due to the narrowing of coronary artery by atherosclerosis, it cannot supply oxygen-rich blood to the heart muscles which need it for its continuous activity. So heart muscles को ही जब ऑक्सीजन नहीं मिल पाएगी तो वो किस तरीके से अपना काम कर पाएगा, अपनी एक्टिविटीज ऐसे नहीं कर पाएगा. दिस फिनोमेना ऑफ रिडक्शन ऑफ ब्लड सप्लाई इज कॉल्ड इस्चीमिया, और इसलिए इसको इस्चीमिया कहते हैं. दिस इज बाय प्रीवियसली कोरोनरी हार्ट डिजीज वाज कॉल्ड इस्केमिक हार्ट डिजीज, इसलिए इसको इस्केमिक हार्ट डिजीज भी पहले कहा जाता था. नाउ नेक्स्ट इज माइटोकॉन्ड्रियल इनहेरिटेंस एंड डिजीजेस. कैसे माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया की वजह से इनहेरिटेंस होती है डिजीजेस की. हमने पहले भी पढ़ा है माइटोकॉन्ड्रियल और ऑर्गेनली का डीएनए भी साइटोप्लाज्म के अंदर अपने एनर्जी प्रोडक्शन तो करवाता है सेलुलर एक्टिविटीज का. माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया एनर्जी भी देता है एटीपी से, adenosine triphosphate. ATP production depend on the series of well-regulated chemical reaction and the specific interaction of different enzymes. There are genes in the mitochondria which contain information or codes for these critical enzymes. Any defect and mutation of the gene can affect. और इस तरह से अगर माइटोकॉन्ड्रियल एंजाइम्स में कोई डिफेक्ट आ गया तो वो भी इनहेरिटेंस में पास ऑन होगा आगे. एंड आप देख रहे हो यहाँ पे अफेक्टेड डॉटर इनकी है फादर और मदर से. अनअफेक्टेड सन, अनअफेक्टेड डॉटर will be there, and the pedigree is shown for the mitochondrial disease. So same way in which the Mendelian inheritance occurs, mitochondrial inheritance is also there, which can pass in the family. So this diagram is explaining the type of mitochondrial disease and their inheritance. Mutated mitochondrial gene in the mother, grandmother with a faulty mutated mitochondrial gene. Then it is passed on to the affected son, and he got married. And so they got daughter. And one affected daughter also got married, and he has passed that gene to the son. And here also one unaffected daughter has passed the gene to their daughter. So here the inheritance pattern is showing that the unaffected and affected individual, normal mitochondria and faulty mitochondrions. So the ATP is, we can say energy is not produced in such diseases. The ATP production cellular function, there are variable number of mitochondria in different cell type of the cells, organs like brain and heart, kidney, muscles and liver which are metabolically very active, needs continuous high energy. So इन organs को ज़्यादा high energy चाहिए होती है, supply इनकी करी जाते हैं, इनके अंदर number of mitochondria higher होते हैं, and these cells have large number of mitochondria. ब्रेन, हार्ट, किडनी, मसल्स और लीवर में ज्यादा माइटोकॉन्ड्रियाज होते हैं. एंड इन अ डिफेक्ट माइटोकॉन्ड्रियल जीन में अगर डिफेक्ट है तो ये माइटोकॉन्ड्रियाज पॉसिबल नहीं होगा पर्सन को कि वो सरवाइव कर सके. सो इन ह्यूमन डिजीजेस ड्यू टू माइटोकॉन्ड्रियल जीन defect symptoms and disease severity depend on the ratio of the normal and the abnormal mitochondria in the cell. कितने माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया नॉर्मल हैं, कितने अब नॉर्मल हैं, उस पर डिपेंड करता है सिवियरिटी डिजीज की. माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया ऑर्गेनली है जिसके अंदर डीएनए होगा सर्कुलर फॉर्म में, एंड इन एनिमल इट इज द ओनली ऑर्गेनल इन एडिशन टू द न्यूक्लियस व्हिच कंटेन डीएनए एंड द जीन. एनिमल सेल में इसी के अंदर डीएनए होता है नॉर्मल न्यूक्लियस वाले डीएनए से अलग. And the sperm contain very low number of mitochondria and mitochondrial genes. So in the offspring, so the mitochondrial genes are inherited from the mother. Mitochondrial gene तो mother से ही आती हैं क्योंकि sperm में कम नंबर के होते हैं mitochondria. Thus, a father with mitochondrial gene defect cannot transmit the disease to offspring. The concept of mitochondrial inheritance is explained in the figure 8.12. सो मदर से ज्यादा ये पास ऑन होता है क्योंकि मदर के माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया ज्यादा होते हैं, बिकॉज ओवम का साइज बड़ा होता है और उसमें ज्यादा माइटोकॉन्ड्रियाज होते हैं. समरी है इस चैप्टर की. हैप्लॉइड सेल 1 कॉपी होता है क्रोमोसोम का, वाइल डिप्लॉइड सेल में 2 कॉपी होते हैं सेम क्रोमोसोम के. कोई भी deviation from one of the few chromosome are either absent or present in multiple copies. It's called aneuploidy. Polyploidy condition में entire set of chromosome multiply होता है. Syndrome is specific condition होती है sign और symptoms की resulting suggesting a particular disease, while a disease is a broader term that refers to abnormal physiology response to internal and external factors. Symptoms are subjective and signs symptoms subjective होते हैं और signs objective होते हैं. Structural chromosomal abnormalities can be caused by deletion, duplication, inversion, translocation. Individual with Down syndrome has an extra chromosome of 21. There are 3 copies of chromosome 21. This is called trisomy of 21. Individual with Klinefelter syndrome, extra X chromosome hota hai, and they are XXY and is observed in only males. And टर्नर सिंड्रोम्स गर्ल्स में ऑब्जर्व होता है और दे आर हैविंग अ वन लेस मिसिंग एक्स क्रोमोसोम. मोनोजेनिक डिफेक्ट्स होते हैं सिंगल जीन के मॉडिफिकेशन की वजह से. कैन बी क्लासिफाइड इनटू ऑटोसोमल रिसेसिव, ऑटोसोमल डोमिनेंट, एक्स लिंक रिसेसिव, एक्स लिंक डोमिनेंट. पॉलीजेनिक डिसऑर्डर कॉज्ड होते हैं डिफेक्ट इन कॉमन मोर देन कंबाइंड एक्शन ऑफ मोर देन वन जीन. इनको क्रोमोसोमल डिफेक्ट. माइटोकॉन्ड्रियल इनहेरिटेंस डिजीज कॉज होती है ड्यू टू डिफेक्ट ऑफ म्यूटेशन इन द जीन्स कोडिंग फॉर क्रिटिकल एंजाइम प्रेजेंट इन द माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया. 4 टाइप ऑफ स्ट्रक्चरल क्रोमोसोमल abnormality exists: deletion, duplication, inversion, translocation. Down syndrome occur due to trisomy 21 and are characterized with the feature of the क्या क्या symptoms होते हैं इसके डाउन सिंड्रोम के? मून लाइक फेस, प्रोट्रूडिंग टंग, मस्कुलर हाइपोटोनिया, पाल्मर ट्रीज एंड सो ऑन. Klinefelter syndrome occurs in the presence of an extra X chromosome in the male, and their symptom enlarged breast, coarse voice, hypogonadism, and tall height. Turner syndrome occurs due to the absence of one X chromosome in the female and is characterized by short-statured, webbed neck and small breast and no menstruation, so on. So these are the symptoms of Turner syndrome. The exercises questions are given. You have to answer them from your NCERT. These are very theory type theoretical questions, so you can find the answers from the text given in the NCERT. So with that, I hope this chapter is clear to you. And if you like the video, then please hit the like button and share and subscribe my channel for such more videos. And for motivating the learners who are interested in learning biotechnology of class 11th and 12th, we have both the videos of class 12th and 11th of biotechnology. Thank you and have a nice day.